a good time, morning meditation, and then mindfulness in motion with Mark, and after that your own practice with your meals. So all went well and all are going well. Maybe you are alone in your own places and I am alone here too, physically. But no matter, we all are somehow connected. Therefore, we feel this collected energy, collected consciousness. And again, I would like to emphasize this, that this energy is not belongs to you or me, or you and me. It belongs to the universe. Therefore, whomever wants to calm down their mind or minds, or whomever wants to meditate, they can get this energy and help as a support. We have this intention too, to make this world as a better place. Anyhow, with this background, by knowing this background, again, we can do some short guided meditation now. Let us now meditate on our mental movements. To know how the mind is moving. And why the mind is moving? Why? See what happens to the mind whenever it remembers something. We see many thoughts come, many rememberings happen, but the mind is not going behind all the thoughts. The mind does not care about most of thoughts. Suddenly, the mind picks up a thought and starts to think about it. Out of hundreds of thoughts, After going for a short trip, the mind comes back to here, to the home, by completing one circle. Again, looking for a thought to go for the next trip. Can we see this complicated behavior? The mind makes an interest in some thoughts. Because of this interest, the mind attaches to that thought. Because of this attachment, they go together. So can we see this subtle interest in thinking, in remembering, and in making plans. The interest is the starting point. If no interest at all, then no wandering mind. The mind does not wander with any thought if no interest. Also, if we can be aware on the interest in wonder before wandering, then again no wandering. We can also notice both. If no interest, no psychological journeys. Also, whenever an interest arises, we can be aware, then nothing happens. Because of this realization and because of this deep awareness, we may experience some strong tranquility, stillness, stability. With this deep stillness, we may open eyes now. Thanks, dear friends, for your beautiful effort in this group meditation. Once again, I hope all of you feel and experience this group energy, the positive radiation which comes out of all of our practice and from all of our hearts. And Yeah, it goes. It goes around the world. And one day it may come back to us. Whatever we radiate after completing the circle, it comes back to the home. When we look at things a bit deeply, then we can see this, that everything is cycling. Everything. This planet is cycling, it's rotating. This planet. That's why we have day and nights. Otherwise, an eternal day or an eternal dark night. But somehow it is not like that. Less or more, we all have days and nights because of this self-rotation. And we have years because the planet is also rotating around the sun. And we have months. We are in October. So we have months because of what? Because the sun is also cycling, rotating around another center. So that's why we have different months. Anyhow, this is easier to understand. Somehow, a couple of thousand years ago, in some areas of this world, thought everything is flat. Even this world, this planet is very flat, like a surface of the table, very flat. But now we know it is a globe, not a surface of a table. It's a globe. And it is not still, it is rotating. And that's why we are having different experiences. Climate experiences, temperature experiences, different seasons because of this. And when we come to ourselves, even the body itself is not something flat. You know, the blood circulation, we even use this word, the blood circulation. So blood is cycling. It starts from the heart and ends up with the heart. The blood circulation, that is the way it happens. It starts from the heart and go all over the body. And finally, I don't know after how many hours, but it returns to the heart where it started. And breathing also, circle. Inhalation, exhalation, this is a cycle. and many other things. Digesting is a circle, the food circle, the circle of the water. So these things are physical things, materialistic things, all these things. Easier to observe, it is easier to notice and easier to understand. But how about the life? Your life and my life? Is life a circle? Rotating? Cycling around something? Or it goes as a simple line on a flat surface from death to the death, from the birth? Well, somehow it looks like that. Yes, we can see somebody born and living, somebody is living and passed away. So the beginning is the birth and the end is the death. The life is existing in between birth and the death. Yeah, it looks like that. So most of the time we think in this way, death is the end. After that, everything is finished. So that's why when we are having unsolved problems, and when we are unable to solve certain problems, issues, and they are bothering us again and again and again, and it makes us depressed, then we think better to die. Better to die, then finish. Then we are free. We can get rid of all these burdens after the death. Because of this philosophy and because of this belief, people kill themselves. They kill themselves. So-called commit suicide. And I am not saying that 100% of commit suicides happen because of this. No, there are some other reasons. But if somebody does it because of the depression, then of course, this is the belief. I will get free. I will be free after the death. So that means death is the end. And also, if we are not capable to solve problems, then we think why we have born. Why we have born. So all these problems are existing because we born. We have born. If not, then no problem. That means also we think the birth is the beginning. Before the birth, no problems. After the death, again, no problems. Only problems are existing in between the death and birth. So this is very ordinary way of thinking, especially this kind of thinking, this kind of ideas mostly arise when the mind is depressed. And the mind is happy or neutral, then if the mind is neutral, then of course that neutral mind is not interested in whatever. And when the mind is happy again, that mind doesn't want to die and doesn't think, oh, why I have born. No, the mind which is happy is so grateful for having this life. Anyhow, my dear friends, the body, the physical body is, it comes with the birth. Of course, it is enlarging in mother's womb for a couple of months before the birth, that's true. And then we know how the body was in the beginning, and it is growing and come to the top level, summit, and then again going down by aging. And we can see it is a circle. So in the beginning, it cannot take care of itself. And at the end, again, the body is unable to take care of itself. So in both situations, the body needs others caring. So that means it is completing one circle. The body is completing one large circle called life. It is not a simple flat line. It has to come back. If somebody is living, if somebody is going through all the status of life, like kid, teenage, younger, elder, like that, then of course it comes back to where it started. This is also visible and obvious. But it's a very interesting question. What was there before the birth? What was there? And what will be there after the death? Was there anything before the birth, and will there anything after the death? Very philosophical questions. Therefore, from beginning up to now, we are thinking and arguing on those both questions. Were we existing before the birth, and will we existing, or will we be existing after the death? If nothing happens after the death, and if we were not there before the birth, then, my dear friends, we don't need a religion. We don't need any religion. All the other subjects are enough. Economy and ethics, science, health, science, they are enough. If we are only existing from birth to the death, then we don't need any religion. All the religions speaks about before the birth and after the death. No religion says there was nothing before the birth and there will be nothing after the death. No religion can say this. If that's true, then the religion is not important at all. And we think it's something religious thing. This is something religious thing. That thinking about what is before and what is after. And therefore, it's a religious business too. All the religions can earn a lot by selling these two information. But we cannot see, we cannot understand, we have to believe. So we have different belief systems according to what we believe. Other than religions, we can forget about religions for a while. We can come back to ourselves. And is there any way to understand this without believing anything? Of course, by believing, we can accept certain theories. But without believing, without having a blind faith, how to work with this title, before and after? Is there any way? Interesting thing. Yes, with meditation, it's possible. With meditation. As we know, the meditation is so popular today, not because of this, as a relaxation, as a gentle relaxation, gentle and deep relaxation. And therefore, most of us think meditation only for this, to relax ourselves. But actually, the meditation is not for this. It's a byproduct. Meditation is to understand the life. What's the life? How it started? How it is existing? And what happens to the life while we are dying and after dying? If everything is finished with the death, then my dear friends, we don't have to make a lot of effort to meditate. No need, actually no need. We can do simple relaxation to relax ourselves. If you are tired and if you are stressed, that's enough. We don't need meditation centers and spiritual masters. If everything is finished with the death, then only we know how to live happily till we are dying. Then positive thinking is more than enough. The positive thinking, how to think positively, that's more than enough. We don't need any spirituality, any deep meditation techniques and deep doctrines. No need. How to understand this? Do we have to die for this? We don't have to die physically to understand what is happening after the death, or what was there before the birth. One thing is very sure, the body is finished. The body will be finished with the death. That's very certain. The body is not going anywhere after the death, unless if someone carries it to somewhere, to the cemetery or wherever, to the river or to the ocean or whatever. Otherwise, the body is not going anywhere after the death. And the body was not there before the birth, even before the mother's womb. the body was not there. That is very certain. We don't need any meditation to understand this. And if we are only the body, if only the body is existing, then of course that simple flat line or theory is enough. The life is starting with the birth and it is end up with the death. That means they believe the life means the body. You mean the body. I mean the body. That's all. So life means very physical, very materialistic, something. That is one part of the life. One part of the life. But we all know this, that there are many other things, other materials are there. More than the body, more than physical things. So what happens to them? What happens to our memory? Memory. What happens to our expectations? What happens to our emotions? And what happens to our deeds? Deeds means karma. What happens to them? Are they all finished with the death? My dear friends, there are a lot of experiments in this or on these areas, scientific experiments about this dying and the burning. So, but I am not going through them because that's not our purpose. But even the modern science is proving this, that something happens after the death. Something is existing. Anyhow, if we can think about the sleep in the night when we go to the bed to sleep, and we are tired, we want to sleep, we don't want to do anything, and after while we are sleeping, we don't know. It's completely dark, full of ignorance. And after going through this ignorance, dark ignorance, next morning, we will be there. Again, we wake up. But in between that, we don't know what happens unless if we can remember certain dreams. Otherwise, we don't know. But the interesting thing is, what will be the first thought of the day, new day, fresh day? How will be our mind? Even though we say everything is fresh, but not the mind. The mind is not fresh. Whatever we were thinking before we go to sleep, whatever subject, whatever matter that we were in a deep thinking, that again starts. Soon after we wake up, we realize that same thinking is going on. Whenever we stop, wherever we stop that thinking, exactly that the thinking start from the same point where we stop it. Before we do anything, after wake up, you can do this experiment. I'm encouraging all of you to do this experiment. Try to be aware while you are sleeping, while you are falling to sleep, while you are trying to sleep. Try to be aware what topic that you are thinking, what emotional topic is going on. And after a while, you may not aware what is happening, but anyhow, soon after you wake up, you can see the mind is carry on that thinking. That thinking is going on and on. Even when you wake up in the middle of the night, suddenly if you wake up, you will realize that the first thought is the same topic, what you have thought in previous night. And the death is like sleep. The death is like a sleep. It's dark. But my dear friends, even the sleep cannot stop the mind. Likewise, the death is not capable or possible to stop the mind. And sometimes I have been with people who are dying. I don't have many experiences, but a couple of people, couple of friends and some unknown people, I was there not to help them to die, but to help them to be alive, not to live forever, just for being alive. Anyhow, what I was observed is interesting. Actually, I wasn't there for that, just to help them. But it's not possible to stop to observe what they are doing while they are dying. One thing is that suddenly they started to remember something which is not relevant to that moment and which is not useful for that particular moment. Maybe something happened in 25 years ago or 30 years ago, even in childhood. Especially so-called emotional memories. And then, my dear friends, they are stick with that memory. They are being stuck with that memory. And it is not a memory for them. It's so real, so real. They are acting and they are reacting to something which is happening in that moment. Looks like that, but only I know nobody is there. But they may start to fight with somebody, to argue with somebody, to blame somebody. Maybe sometimes they are so afraid of some people, but they are not there. So it's very difficult to help to people who are who are being stuck with past, to get rid of them, especially when they are weak, physically and mentally. When we are weak, it's very difficult to come out from those memories, emotional memories. So they are struggling. An interesting thing is, the Buddhism says, according to my memory, there are 3 incidents can happen while an ordinary person is dying. Yes, 3. The first thing is, they may remember some emotional, positive or negative, some emotional past incidents which they were involved. And the second thing is people. They could remember people who were also involved to those emotional past incidents. So this is the second thing. First thing is incidents, emotional incidents, and the second thing is people who have emotional, some kind of maybe relationship or positive or negative connection. And the third thing is they could see something which is not relevant to their past. So Buddhism says that comes from their future. They can see their future. So some people are happy. Yes, while they are dying, they are so happy, so peaceful, and they are smiling. They are smiling, and you think that they are smiling to you. They are smiling to you, but actually not to you. Maybe not to you. They are smiling to their future. And some people may cry. And you think that they cry because of they want to go away from you, or they want to say goodbye to you, or they may have some sad memories. Maybe yes, but not always. They are crying to their future. They can see something, a piece of their future while they are dying. That is also possible. So what I want to tell you is that if we do not heal our emotional wounds, psychological wounds before we die, then it gives us a huge trouble. We cannot solve anything while we are dying. That is not possible. We cannot solve anything while we are dying. We have to solve everything before we die. We should not carry any emotional or psychological wounds, hurt feelings until the death. So that's why meditation is important. Tomorrow is a projection of today. The projector is our heart. If the projector is wounded and damaged, then we know what happens to the projection. And yeah, we can keep that this ideas, we can keep them beside of us for a while. And now we can go back to our meditation, especially the last meditation, what we have done just before the talk. We were meditating on our mind. So we all know this theoretically and practically, that the mind is wandering. Wandering means it is going away with memories. Whenever it remembers something, immediately the mind starts to go for a trip or journey with that thought or with that memory. So that we know. It's not a new discovery. We all know about this. But today, we wanted to know why it is happening, how it is happening, because of what it happens. We think because of thoughts, because thoughts come to mind. That's why mind is disturbed, distracted. That's why mind is wandering. If no thought comes, then no psychological tour. But that is not the real reason. If we believe this, my dear friends, that the mind is distracted or mind becomes distracted because of thoughts, then what we try to do is to stop thoughts. We start to hate thoughts. We try to find a way to eradicate our thoughts. But actually, that's not the cause of the problem. The mind is wandering not because of thought. The mind makes an interest in thinking. So many thoughts are coming. Maybe 100 of thoughts come, but the mind is not thinking on all these 100 of thoughts. Only mind picks up 1 out of 100. You can see this. You can observe this. And the rest of 99 thoughts, they are disappearing. The mind is not going 100 of journeys because of 100 of thoughts. No. The mind is picking up the thought. So whenever mind is picking up a thought, then only then it is going with that thought for a trip. And why mind is picking up that thought? How it happens? Is it a coincidence? Does it happen as a coincidence? If it happens as a coincidence, then my dear friends, we cannot do anything. Then we are helpless. No, it is not happening as a coincidence. The mind makes some interest in that thought. Interest. Then, if the mind is interested in whatever, then mind is stick with that idea, with that memory. And then they go together. So no interest, no tour. So wherever you go physically, you go out of interest. You want to go for a walk to the park. That's why you go there. If you are not interested in that walk, then you are not going there. If you are interested to go to a supermarket, then you go there. To a movie, You go there. So why you are there? Because you are interested in watching a movie or doing some shopping or to meet somebody, to see the nature, to see the beach, to see the mountain, whatever, to buy a book. Just see how we physically go somewhere. Behind all of our physical journeys, an interest is there, an interest. The interest is very subtle. The interest is so subtle and invisible, and it is lasting only for a couple of seconds. But that is so powerful. It is so powerful. It can bring your body from here to couple of kilometers away from here. So see how powerful this interest is. Your body may be 50 kilos, 70 kilos. So that interest can carry your body all the way from here to there, wherever your interest is, wherever you plant your interest. That is the other thing. So whenever interest arises, then what we do is we project that interest in somewhere. So before you go anywhere, your interest goes there. Our interest goes to the supermarket before we physically go there. And then the interest is there as a magnet at the supermarket or wherever. And then that magnet is taking us from here to there. Then very difficult to not to go there. Once we plant our interest in wherever, then very difficult to not to go there. It's a magnet. The interest is a magnet. And what we are doing is, we are planting those magnets in everywhere. Everywhere. And then that magnet is calling us, come here, come here. It is calling, it is ordering us to come there. And physically we go there. All of our physical walks, rides, journeys, trips and tours, all of happen because of the interest. So behind every single physical tour, an interest is there. If no interest, then you are not going anywhere. And interest is not physical something. It is not something materialistic. It is psychological. It is emotional. And as I said for a couple of times, it is not easy to say no. Once we have planted an interest in somewhere, then very difficult to say no. It is easier to say no to everybody. If somebody asks, can we go to that place? We can say, no, I don't want, I am busy, I can't, I'm tired. How many times we say no to others, even to our beloved one? We can say no, I'm sorry. But to our own interest, it's not easy. It is not easy at all to say, it is not an easy to say no. to our own interest. That interest is so powerful because it comes from the ego. From the ego. And the ego is now dragging us. It is dragging us, forcing us. It does not allow us to be still here and now. Because of whatever reasons, because of whatever practical reasons, maybe we don't have money, we don't have time, maybe the environmental conditions are not suitable for going out, or maybe it is curfew, like we know this very well during the COVID time. Lockdown. So we all had to stay inside a small room, inside the house. And we know what happens. How we were happy. Were we happy? No, it's a prison. It's like a prison. It's like a prison for a mind which has so many interests. Lockdown can be a prison for a mind which doesn't know how to work with own interest, egoistic interest. And the other thing is, to make it shorter, during our last meditation, we were trying to practice this as well, to be aware on our interest. Whenever an interest arises, we can be aware. I have an interest in thinking that. And now we are aware on that. We are observing that. And then what happens? Then what happens? Then that interest becomes powerless. No magnet at all. No magnet at all. We can demagnetize. We can demagnetize our egoistic interest just by observing, just by being an observer. Then that interest is not a live seed at all. Even though we plant it somewhere, it doesn't grow. It is not calling us. It is not dragging us. So no journey at all. And we can also experience this. And I am inviting all of you to do this experiment while you are going to sleep. So the first thing we have discussed, that to see what will be the first thought of the new day in the morning. Soon after we get up, we can see the link, the connection between our last thinking and the first thinking. And now the second experiment is, just try to relax your mind and not thinking anything intentionally while you are sleeping. Whatever interest comes in thinking whatsoever, be aware and let go. Not control, not repress. Don't repress. Do not control, please. Just be aware, and see how it comes, how it stays, and how it goes away. And another interest arises. Again, observe how it is here and how it disappears. So just do this experiment. What you are just observing how different interests are arising and passing away. That's all. You are not feeding them. You are not energizing them. You are not magnetizing them. And then after a while, you may go to sleep. And when you wake up, you can see this. You can try to see that any thinking, is any thinking going? You can just do this experiment. And for a surprise, you can realize there's no thinking at all. It's an empty mind. You are not awaking while you are thinking. Usually that is the way we wake up. We wake up while the mind is thinking. So we are wake up in the middle of a psychological story. But now you can wake up with empty mind. With empty mind. No connection. So that means the previous night does not project anything to next morning. And that is possible. That is very possible. And we can practice this. And by practicing this, we can get a lot of benefits. We can heal our wounds, psychological wounds, emotional wounds. We can live peacefully. We can sleep peacefully without having any nightmares or bad dreams. We can maintain our relationships in a healthy way. If you are not holding any psychological and emotional wounds which are related to our past relationships. And the best benefit is we can die. We can die. Otherwise, we are not dying. We cannot say die for what is usually happening, crying and being sad, being afraid, and living inside of stories, projecting things. It's not a death. It is not a death, it's a hell. We can complete the circle of life fully. Once we know it is completed, then contentment is there. If we think we are unable to complete, then we are looking for new opportunities to complete it. But in this way, my dear friends, no way to complete. Especially wounded mind, wounded heart is unable to complete the circle of life. Therefore, always we are in the middle of circle. Always we are in the middle of circle. Even if we live for hundred of years if we live, but we are still in the middle of a circle. And we are looking for the next half, the rest of the half circle, how to complete. Always half. Therefore, my suggestion is, let us learn to complete the circle of life before we die, before the death comes. Then the death is not something horrible. Then the death cannot kill us. Then the death can be just a physical thing. If we can complete the circle of life right now. Right now means in the present. Thank you very much, my dear friends, for your kind and deep attention. Please think on this, reflect on this, and meditate on this. We can meet again in maybe 3 hours to do chanting and meditation and then discussion. Till that, enjoy your awareness and try to be alive on your mind. Thank you.